Sorry for the delay. I needed to delete some footage off of my phone because I needed space to talk and record this. So as I was saying, I didn't want it to be all about just complaining, but then again, I'm talking, I'm writing about the experiences of a little girl growing up in a very bad family. So it's not complaining, but I wanted to tell more of a story as to just talking about, oh, little sad old me and look what happened and I'm so pathetic and I wanted to be something that would help other people to at least have the example of me and knowing that in any case, anything that happens, there's always a way. There's always a way. You don't even have to do anything to find a way. You only have to change your mind about the way you look at things and not accept other people's opinion about you. And the sun will soon shine after, I promise. I promise you this. And that I wanted to have more of an impact, you know? Because the stories I tell, sometimes when I talk to people and tell them about my life, the things I've gone through, the things I had to fight through, people will literally look me in the eye and tell me that if they would have been in my shoes, they would have probably killed themselves or couldn't have managed or would have done something really drastically bad, or they just cannot fathom. And the fact that it happened to me and it's my life and I know no different, that they can't fathom the idea of having to be in my skin. I've seen grown men cry when I told them about my life story. I've had to go through let's just say that there was this period in my life when I needed to stop smoking as much weed as I did, and I needed help. And I got help. I went to my doctor and they transferred me to this organization that deals with addictions. And there I sat for 7 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and having to talk about my addictions and why I was addicted and everything that led and helped to the buildup of me being an addict. Because when you can't stop a habit, it becomes an addiction. And it wasn't the addiction that was causing me harm, it was the fact that the addiction costs money and makes you shut off from the world, puts you in this zone of not wanting to deal with things, not seeing things as they are. And it became really hard for me to live in that reality state, that duality, where I had to be present in the now, go to work, pay my bills, be responsible. And by the time my job was done, having to deal with the past and not having had enough time to sift through all of that and accept everything that had happened and give everything a place and put it in the past because things were still ongoing. I couldn't leave things in the past because the stories never ended for me. Just the one example when it comes to my biological father and I still have no clue as to who that man is. My mother won't tell me. 2 years ago, I paid over 200 euros to get a DNA test, a paternity test done between me and the father that I was awarded, and there was 0% chance of him being my father. And when I presented my mother with this evidence, let's say, she still sticks to her guns, won't tell me what's who and what's what and why and how come. And I've even come to the point where I've started to accept the fact that my real father, biological father, may even have passed away already at his age. So all the DNA test did for me in the end was remove one father that I thought I had. At least I had that hope that he still might be, as long as there were no blood tests or DNA tests done, he could still might be. So I had a little small infinite chance, but not knowing the truth is just as bad as living with a lie, because you're hanging on to a possible outcome that is already set somewhere. You just don't know what the outcome is. So the stories like that, it's not something I can leave in the past and say, oh, this trauma belongs to that 11-year-old girl that I was back then, who for almost the first time really out loud got to hear that her dad might not be her dad. This is something that has been tearing that little inner child apart since I was 11. So I can't say at 42 now that stuff that does not hurt. It still hurts. See what I'm saying? So I have had to live through these things and traumas that will not end. They will not cease to. It will not cease to happen. They will not cease to cause pain in my present, because what had happened was, these walls are gonna. It still hurts because it gave me daddy issues. And when one begets daddy issues, one begets boyfriend issues, one begets all kinds of fears. There was nobody to stick up for me as a child. And later, there was nobody to stick up for me as a teenager. There was nobody to stick up for me as an adult. Nobody chose for me. Nobody shows up for me. They didn't even show up when I graduated. Can you imagine? Still to this day, I contact my parents and I talk to them and I see how they're doing. It's a choice I make. I make that choice every day. And they don't, even though they don't deserve it, but I deserve to be righteous. I deserve to act with grace with compassion and kindness. I deserve to be who I am, who I made myself to be. And I'm proud of that woman. I'm proud that as a grown woman, I can now look back and point at the people who did me so much harm and look back at them with love. Because at the end of the day, when I go to bed and I lay my head on my pillow, that's a song somewhere, I can relax. I have no guilt. I feel no pain. I feel no remorse. I feel no regret. I might feel disappointment for things that could have been, but they never were. So they're just fantasies in my head I could have had. You know, I watch movies for that, to get that family sense. I used to watch Oprah for motherly advice. The topics I wanted advice over, I would sit and watch Oprah every day coming home from school. If I needed a better example, I would go and visit my aunties and sit and talk to them about life. I wouldn't waste my time just sitting at home and complaining how my mother was no mother to me, and I was more of a mother to her and my sisters than they were. So I went out and looked for better examples. Sometimes you have to go out and look for better examples when you have none around you. And know that this is your right. You're not supposed to step into your mother's shoes if her shoes are dirty. Get your own shoes or walk bare feet until you find your shoes, until you find your path to walk on. But I'll end with this for now. And it's something I say to all the children I teach spoken word to, the classes I get to visit and teach the children how to express their emotion and write poetry. I tell them, it doesn't matter who else or in this world, or that this world, as a matter of fact, tries to throw you away, tries to deny you of your place, of your right of being here, denies you of your voice and that you have something to say. You don't get to do the same. You don't get to throw yourself away. You don't get to deny yourself a voice. You're here. Make use of it. Make use of the space you're filling, because that space is your space. I know for one thing, I'm meant to be here. Even though my mother didn't want me and my father never believed I was his, just pure by divine intervention, that it took 5 months for the pregnancy tests to come back positive, that my mother could finally know that she knew she was pregnant, but the tests all came back negative. So for the doctors, there was no reason for them to have an abortion if there's no child, and they couldn't even sense my heartbeat. To this day, I have a really slow heartbeat. I've never had a problem. Sometimes I wonder if my heart even beats at all. So quiet. But it is. It's still going strong. So if it weren't for divine intervention and that one shaman Indian doctor that showed up last minute who saved me and my mother, because one of us was gonna go. One of us was not going to make it, and it probably would have been me. He showed up in the nick of time and helped me be delivered. And by the time my mom had enough strength to go and thank that doctor, they had never heard or seen that doctor before. There was no Indian looking kind of guy working at that hospital in that ward. And so, yeah, I'm going to stick to divine intervention, and I'm going to say and state it again. The fact that you are here now says that you are supposed to be here now. And that all the struggles and battles that life is throwing your way, that's your school. That's your education. That's life testing you if you have compassion. That's life testing you if you have forgiveness in you. That's life testing you if you know how to deal with grace. If you know how to deal with scandals, if you still know how to walk up straight with your head held high, face towards the sun, not being fazed by shit. That's life, that's school. And if you pass those tests, I promise you, as I sit here today, I promise you, you will make it. Whatever it is that you want to do, you will make it. You will get there. And if you keep your love, your light, and your crown on your head, and treat other people with as much respect as you can, you'll probably even grow old without even growing gray hair. Look at that. Not a one. Black as a fanny. Anywho, that's my content for today. Breaking taboos. Standing strong. Survival of the fittest. It's all up here. You decide what you do with you. Never let anybody else choose your path. I'll see you back here again on Bat-Born Angels channel. And I'll be talking through the ether, hoping to reach you. Come back and sit here and talk with me. Listen, share something. Maybe somebody, somewhere will have a better day just by listening to my rantings online. Signing off.